This little thing is called a relay, and it's probably the reason why your fridge isn't cooling. The cool thing about it is it costs less than 10 bucks, so don't get ripped off spending hundreds trying to fix it. I'm going to show you guys exactly how you can replace your relay if it's broken for under 10 bucks, or better yet, for free. Stay with me and I'll show you how. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. If it's your first time here, welcome, and to all my longtime subscribers, welcome back. Today, I got a mini fridge. It was in my bedroom and it's not working. If you stumble across this video, it's probably because you have the same issue or you're just interested in my content. Either way, I figured I'd make a video showing you guys how I'm going to fix this thing. Now, before we jump into the video, I want you guys to know a couple things. Everything that I use here will be left in the links in the description, so if you need it, you can check it out. I'm also going to show you guys how to troubleshoot and check to see what component of your mini fridge is damaged. We're going to talk about testing your compressor. We're going to talk about testing your capacitor if you have one, and we're going to check the relay and the overload protection for this fridge. A lot of times the relay is what goes bad, and in these mini fridges they're pretty simple to replace and pretty easy, and they cost very little. So before you go ahead and throw out your fridge and assume that it's your compressor, I'm going to talk to you guys about how to check it, to test it, and if it's just a relay, how to replace it. We're going to do a direct replacement, and I'm going to show you how to fix it for free. So if you're interested in either one of those options, this is the right video for you. You've come to the right place. Let's talk about it and let's get this thing done. These are the symptoms you need to look out for. If your fridge is not cooling, or you hear a clicking sound and the compressor sounds like it's coming on and off, this fix is going to work for you. The first thing you want to do is get to the back of your refrigerator and you want to unplug your fridge. Once you have the fridge unplugged, you want to look towards the base of your refrigerator, and you're going to see your compressor and all the components that pretty much control your refrigerator. This is where we need to do our work. Now, underneath your fridge, you have your compressor here, and this is the thing that's connected to your compressor. Inside here, you're going to have either a relay or a capacitor, or even both. But in order to get to this, usually this housing is held in place by some sort of bracket. As you can see here, I have this metallic bracket. Yours may look different. It may be a wire that's clamped to an actual piece of metal that's holding it in place. But whatever you have, you want to remove this bracket. I'm going to try and pull it and push it that way to unhook it. Just like that. Once you got the hook unhooked, you can go ahead and push it out the way, and you should be able to remove this housing. Now all you need to do is slide it off, and you can go ahead and remove the bracket as well. As you can see, it has these little hooks here, no big deal. Now, as you can see, attached to the compressor here, we have, in my case, an overload protection, and below it we have a relay. Now what we want to do is remove it. All it is pushed up against this compressor here with some pins. All you want to do is grab a hold of it, and you want to just kind of wiggle it back and forth until they come free. And once you got them off the pins, as you can see here, you have your relay and you have your overload switch here. So first things first, we want to go ahead and we want to test our compressor, because if this is bad, then it doesn't matter what we do for the rest of this video, it's not going to work. So we want to test our compressor, and what you want to do is you want to test these pins individually, each one of them, to see if there's continuity. So what you want to do is you want to grab your meter and you want to go ahead and set it to the continuity function. I have it set to audio. If there is continuity, you should hear a beep. On your compressor, you're going to have 3 prongs. So what you want to do is you want to test for continuity by placing your probes on 2 at a time and then alternating them, making sure that there's continuity between all 3 of them. First, we'll start out by placing it on the starter winding and the common. We got continuity. We'll go to the starter and the motor. We have continuity. We'll go to the motor and the common, and we'll go to the common and the starter, and we have continuity. Now that we have continuity on all of them, the only thing we need to do is check to see if the compressor is shorted to ground. To do this, you want to go ahead and touch each one of the prongs, and you want to touch the body of the compressor. Now, if it's painted, it won't work. So try and find a metal surface like this copper, that's bare copper here. And as you can see, it's not grounded. So that's a good sign. You move it to the next prong, test it. It's not grounded. And we'll go to the common and to the metal, and it's not grounded. That's what you want to hear. If you heard a beep, that means it's shorted to ground and your compressor is bad. Now that we're done with the compressor, let's look at the other components. We have ourselves a relay here, and we have ourselves an overload protection device here as well. We're going to test them one at a time. The first thing you want to do before you disconnect anything is you want to take note of where all the wires are connected and what color is connected where. Once you've done that, then you can go ahead and disconnect the wires, because you want to make sure that you connect them back in the same orientation. As you can see here, we have one wire connected to the overload switch. Let's disconnect it. We want to test for continuity as well. So all you need to do is put your probe in one side here, and on the other side, you want to touch it. If you hear that beep, then you know you're good and the overload protection is working. So we can set that aside. Now we want to go ahead and remove all the wires that are connected to the relay itself. Once we have all the wires disconnected, we want to go ahead and we want to test our relay. And the simplest way to do it is we want to place our probes in here and we're going to test for continuity. It should beep. So let's go ahead and put our probes in, make sure they're in all the way, and you're listening for that beep. And as you can see, I don't hear anything, which lets me know that this relay is bad. If the relay was good, this is what the sound that you would hear. I have a good one here, and there you go. So our original relay is bad, so we're going to go ahead and replace it. Now what you want to do is you want to go ahead and look on your relay. There should be some markings. Once you've got your relay and you've identified it, you're going to go ahead and put it into Amazon or Google or whatever your search engine is and search the model number of your fridge. You're going to either get a 3-pin like this one, a 2-pin, or a single pin, depending on what model your fridge is and which ones are available. Once you've got the replacement relay, then you're ready to jump on to the next step. The next thing you want to do is you want to check to see if you have a capacitor. In my case, I don't have a capacitor, but yours may have a relay with a capacitor on the back of it. If you do have a capacitor, all you want to do is you want to set your meter to capacitance. It's going to look something like this. And once you have it set, all you want to do is you want to touch one lead to one of the prongs and the other lead to the other, and you want to test the rating on the capacitor. Your capacitor should have a value in microfarads of what it should be, so you want to test it to see if it falls within that range. If it does, then you're good to go. If it doesn't, then you may need to replace your capacitor as well. Again, type the model number in, get your new capacitor, and you can move on to the next step. Once you got your new relay, the only thing left to do is to reconnect all the wires to it. In my case, I had the white wires on the top, so I'm going to go ahead and plug the white wires on there, and the black wires were on the bottom. Last but not least, you can connect the overload protection, and all it is just reconnecting them just the way they were originally. Just take your time, and I find that putting the overload protection on first and then sliding the relay underneath it is the easiest way to get it working and get it lined up. It can be a little bit tricky, but once you figured it out, you should be able to just line up the holes and press it on. I promised I would show you guys how to fix this thing for free, so here's a good tip. One of the things you can try to do to fix it is to fix the thermistor that's inside here. Now, to remove this cover, all you really need to do is pry on the tabs on the side with a small screwdriver. Just lift it up and push it forward. You can do that on both sides. And once you have that done, you can just pull the cover plate off and you should be able to see inside. Now inside, there's this little circular thermistor right here. And if you have a small needle nose screwdriver, you can go ahead and pull it out. Once it's only held in place by these little tabs and these prongs in here, kind of like a little watch battery if you've ever removed one. And as you can see here, you can see sometimes it has scratches, or better yet, you can see here some of the surface has been removed and it's not this aluminum finish. Now what will end up happening is sometimes this will get rubbed off and the contacts that are inside do not make good contact. So what you can do is remove it and rotate the disc. Once you've done rotated it, you can go ahead and reinsert it and just press down until it locks back in place like that. And then you can go ahead and put the cover back on. And you should be good to go. Just test for continuity, and if it works, then you know that you fixed the relay. Before we go ahead and put the cover back on, you want to go ahead and plug your fridge in just to make sure it's working. So go ahead and plug it in. And like that, you should hear your compressor kick in. And there you have it. All right. Now, putting these covers back on can be a pain, especially if it's like this. You're going to see a hole here, a slot. You want to line these two big cords up to slide between this, to slide in this slot right here. So all you got to do is kind of slide it over a little bit, and you want to orient it where you get one in, and then you can kind of push the other one through after you've got one in. So we got one in there. Once you got all the cables through, you can go ahead and slide it on until the cover is pretty much butted up against the compressor. And last but not least, you just want to go ahead and slide your bracket on. You want to hook this pin through the hole in the other side. It's kind of just by feel. Once you got one side in, all you need to do now is push this bracket this way as hard as you can until it latches into the hole, just like that. And once it's in, you're pretty much done. All right, guys, welcome back. My fridge is working. Hopefully you guys followed along in this and you were able to get yours working as well. There are a couple things that you need to know whenever you're replacing the relay on your refrigerator. One, make sure that you type in the right model number and get the right model so that everything runs smoothly. Secondly, what I would say is I would go ahead and order a second relay just in case. It's always good to have one. The thing costs less than 10 bucks, but it's good to have it handy, especially if it goes bad again, and especially if you were able to fix it for free. Over time, that PCT thermistor may wear out again, and you may be running into the same problems. So I would suggest go ahead and get a replacement and have it on hand just in case you ever have to replace it again. So as long as you're able to follow these steps, you would have replaced your relay or you'd have troubleshooted it. Now, if your compressor is bad, in this day and age, I'm sorry to say, but your best solution is to probably just go buy yourself a new mini fridge. It's not worth the investment of trying to fix it or get a replacement one, especially on something small like this. So I would say if it's your relay or your capacitor, these are a simple, easy fix that you guys can do by yourself. And it's going to take you 5-10 minutes of your time and you should be able to knock it out. Once again, thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys have any questions, leave them down in the comments. I'll be glad to answer them. And hopefully you're able to find value in this content. If you did, don't forget, hit that thumbs up, subscribe to the channel so you can stay up to date on all things that I do DIY. Again, I appreciate it, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.